Nation 370, request level.
370, we are ready, requesting flight level 350 to Beijing.
370, 32 right of takeoff. Nice.
That's alright, Captain Malaysia Airlines.
Vanished. That's the only word to describe the fate of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. 239 souls aboard and then gone, disappeared without a trace. It was a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing and then nothing. No mayday, no distress signal, just silence. But the silence whispers a story of baffling turns, ghost signals, and a search that spanned oceans and years. Tonight, we look into the heart of this aviation enigma, exploring the chilling sequence of events that began just 38 minutes after takeoff. Air traffic control in Kuala Lumpur watched the blip representing MH370 fade from their radar screens. It was 1:21 a.m., March 8, 2014. The plane, transitioning into Vietnamese airspace, had simply disappeared. No explanation, no warning. The transponder, the aircraft's electronic beacon, had gone dark. In the eerie silence that followed, the desperate search for MH370 began, a search that would unravel into one of the most perplexing mysteries in aviation history. What happened in those crucial moments? Where did MH370 go? That's what we're going to find out today. In the beginning, the search and rescue efforts concentrated on the South China Sea, the plane's last known radar position. However, later analysis of military radar data and satellite communications dramatically altered the investigation. It changed everything. This newly acquired data revealed a startling and unexpected deviation from the planned route. MH370 had not simply continued on its course, it had turned back across the Malay Peninsula and then continued flying for several hours. This revelation drastically expanded the search area to the vast and remote southern Indian Ocean, a region notorious for its challenging weather patterns, powerful currents, and immense depths. This vastness seriously complicated the search effort, transforming it into one of the most extensive, complex, and costly in aviation history. But out of all the theories, one stands out as the most interesting. However, this theory is grim as it involves the crew suffocating to death. So, numerous theories have emerged in an attempt to explain MH370's disappearance. One of the most widely discussed is the hypoxia scenario. This theory suggests that a catastrophic failure, such as a rapid decompression event or an electrical fire, incapacitated the crew and passengers through oxygen deprivation. The aircraft, then operating on autopilot, would have continued flying along its altered course until fuel exhaustion, ultimately crashing into the ocean. This theory aligns with the absence of communication from the cockpit after the transponder shutdown, suggesting a sudden and dramatic event. If this did actually happen, the crew and passengers wouldn't have stood a chance. However, critics of this theory point to the lack of corroborating physical evidence. Rapid decompression or fire typically leaves detectable debris fields or triggers emergency locator transmitter signals, neither of which were observed in the case of MH370. So let's look at another, more sinister theory. This theory centers on the possibility of deliberate pilot action. This hypothesis proposes that one or both pilots intentionally diverted the plane, potentially motivated by personal or political factors, or as a tragic act of suicide by plane. This theory gains traction from the complexity and apparent deliberateness of the flight path deviation, as well as the deliberate disabling of communication systems. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, an experienced pilot with extensive Boeing 777 expertise, became a focal point of the investigation. Scrutiny of his personal life, flight simulator data, psychological profile, and social media activity saw evidence of premeditation or motive, but no definitive proof of malicious intent has ever been found. So, we must turn our attention to what we think is the most likely theory. A less conventional, but still plausible theory considers a more insidious form of mechanical failure. Some experts hypothesize that a subtle but ultimately catastrophic structural flaw, perhaps in the horizontal stabilizer or the flight control systems, could have led to the plane's demise. Such a failure might not have been immediately apparent to the crew, allowing the aircraft to continue flying for an extended period before ultimately succumbing to the effects of the damage and crashing. This theory, while less popular, underscores the inherent complexities of modern aircraft and the potential for unforeseen and catastrophic failures, even in highly sophisticated and meticulously maintained machines. The relative lack of significant debris fields discovered thus far lends some validity to this theory, suggesting a more controlled descent and impact rather than a high-speed, mid-air disintegration. But how the plane crashed isn't even the biggest mystery. The main puzzle is why it took them so long to find it. In 2018, a renewed search effort spearheaded by Ocean Infinity, a private company specializing in deep-sea exploration, yielded additional debris but still no sign of the fuselage. While ultimately unsuccessful in locating the main wreckage, this search provided valuable data, refined the search area, and further informed the ongoing investigation. The continued analysis of recovered debris, ocean currents, satellite data, and other available evidence offers a persistent, albeit faint hope that MH370's final resting place will eventually be discovered. This discovery would not only provide a measure of closure for the grieving families, but also offer crucial insights into the cause of this aviation enigma and potentially prevent similar tragedies in the future. But let's take a look at what the process of finding a missing airplane entails. It's not as easy as you might think. The Inmarsat satellite data, consisting of hourly handshakes or pings between the aircraft and the satellite, became a cornerstone of the investigation. These pings, while not providing precise GPS coordinates like a transponder, offered crucial information about the plane's range and general direction. Analysts meticulously correlated these pings with Boeing 777 performance characteristics, fuel consumption rates, and potential flight paths. This complex analysis, involving sophisticated mathematical modeling, signal propagation analysis, and Doppler shift calculations, allowed investigators to define a series of arcs representing the plane's possible locations at each handshake. By combining these arcs with other data points such as ocean current drift analysis, debris location, and fuel endurance estimates, the search area was progressively narrowed down to the remote southern Indian Ocean. The intricacies of satellite communication and the limitations of the available data presented significant challenges to the investigative team, and it would take them a near miracle to work it all out. The recovered debris, including the flaperon, underwent rigorous forensic examination. Experts analyzed the damage patterns, structural integrity, material composition, and the presence or absence of marine growth. The damage patterns on the flaperon suggested that it was likely in a deployed or partially deployed state at the time of impact. This finding indicated a controlled descent rather than a high-speed, catastrophic breakup. Each piece of recovered debris, no matter how small, provided valuable clues and contributed to the overall understanding of the aircraft's final moments. It was literally like trying to piece together a puzzle, except this puzzle was an annihilated airplane with passengers inside. And that wasn't all the team was tasked with uncovering. They also had to delve into the mind of the pilot. The investigation into Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah's psychological state involved extensive interviews with family, friends, colleagues, and aviation professionals. Investigators scrutinized his personal life, financial records, political affiliations, social media activity, browsing history, and any other available data, searching for any indicators of emotional distress, radicalization, suicidal tendencies, or other potential motives. His flight simulator data, recovered from his home computer, was meticulously analyzed for any evidence of simulated routes resembling the flight path taken by MH370. While the investigation revealed no definitive proof of malicious intent, there's still a chance he did in fact orchestrate this whole thing. The search for MH370 relied heavily on oceanographic analysis and sophisticated drift modeling techniques. Oceanographers studied the complex currents, wind patterns, and wave dynamics of the southern Indian Ocean to predict the movement of debris over time. This analysis involved using complex algorithms, hydrodynamic models, and computer simulations to track the likely trajectory of debris originating from a hypothetical crash site. By comparing these predicted drift patterns with the actual locations where debris was found, investigators were able to refine the search area and prioritize specific zones for underwater sonar mapping and autonomous underwater vehicle deployment. The vastness and complexity of the ocean environment presented significant challenges to the search effort, requiring advanced modeling techniques and expert interpretation of oceanographic data. The disappearance of MH370 continues to challenge our understanding of aviation safety, accident investigation, and the limits of technology. While we may never know with absolute certainty what happened to this flight, the continued investigation, analysis of recovered debris, and advancements in search technology offer a glimmer of hope. What are your thoughts? Share your theories in the comments below. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of one of aviation's most enduring and perplexing mysteries. See you in the next one.